The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace, that is, the praetorium, and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe on him, then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Again and again they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him. The event started after a long, sleepless night. Sleepless for the chief priests who accused him and wanted him out of the way. Sleepless for the soldiers who guarded him. Sleepless for the crowd. Sleepless for the tormentors who brutally beat him. Pilate was wanting to satisfy the crowd, so he complied. And they crucified him. Crucifixion was designed not only to kill, but to dissuade others from criminal actions. Victims of crucifixion were to be humiliated, often left to hang naked. And the Jewish leaders accused Christ of encouraging rebellion and proclaiming himself as king. And this charge of insurrection is how Jesus ended up on a Roman cross. 6 hours on the cross. It started at 9 a.m. "You say you've come to rescue us?" people shouted. "But you can't even save yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. An army of angels would have flown to his side if he had called them. "Let this Messiah, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross, that we may see and believe." And of course, they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed that woman caught in adultery, and when he stilled the storm, and he offered thanks and 5,000 were fed. He could have, but he didn't. Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was his purpose. It was what he was sent to earth to do. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook. Rocks split in two, until it seemed that the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts are filled with sin. The darkness that came over the whole land lasted until 3 p.m. when Jesus called out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And for the first time and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. As Psalm 22 made clear hundreds of years before, the Heavenly Father turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." Jesus breathed his last. And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Jesus' friends gently carried him away. They laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of the rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking. Those simple words, "and they crucified him." Those words would continue to keep them awake, unable to rest. Visions in their minds of the cruelty. They were now without hope. That's the end of Jesus, the leaders thought. Jesus' friends, they were sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus their rescuer? The king God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes. But who ever said anything about the end?